Now, from the studios of Into Tomorrow in Miami, this is ITTV.
Shopping for streaming services can be overwhelming, and we've talked about it for a long time, many years on this program. Well, our next guest company helps simplify streaming TV by connecting them with the streaming services that are right for them, or you in this case. The CEO of My Bundle is Jason Cohen. Jason, thanks for coming on. How you doing?
Dave, great. Thank you very much for having me today.
It's a pleasure. You solve a major problem, and it's something that even I've expressed. It's like, well, first of all, it's like, I want to watch something, but I don't know where it's on, or I've seen one episode of something. Oh, I like that show. I want to go back and see another one. I can't find it. But more importantly, we get to a point where we talk about cutting the cord all the time, and yay for cord cutters, good for you guys. But then what? Because you still want to get certain things. Is that my understanding, that My Bundle can in fact bundle cool things for us?
Yeah, no, it's what we like to say is the one good thing about cable was it was simple, right?
Yeah.
Beyond that, it comes with a lot of headaches and a lot of problems, right?
Good point. The only good thing, especially what I like to call concast, and they hate that I say that, but it's true. Stop conning people, and I'll stop saying it. But yeah, good point. It was at least easy. If you paid through the nose, but you could pretty much find the stuff you wanted, right?
It was easy. But what's been great is over the last really, 10 years, the streaming market has started to develop. But in the last 5 years, really exploded. And frankly, we think you haven't seen anything yet. And ultimately, right, what we do is we help different groups of customers. Number one, you've got cable, you've got satellite. There are 72 million households out there who still have traditional facilities-based TV. What does that mean? A set-top box, your cable company, your satellite company. And are you really watching 200 channels? Are you watching 100 channels? Are you watching 50 channels? Like, the answer is no. Right, we have the numbers. On average, people select that they want 12 to 14 channels. Right?
And of course, typically your cable companies won't let you select just the ones you want to watch because they don't make any money off you that way. So right. It's like, no, you got to have a package. And we're frequently saying, these days 500 channels and nothing to watch. It's kind of becoming a joke, but it's true in many cases.
Yeah, and so in somewhat in their defense, without getting too into the weeds, the media networks also bundle their channels in certain ways that don't give that freedom. But what's established with streaming is that there are now all these live TV streaming services: YouTube TV, Hulu Live, Sling, Fubo, Philo, Vidgo, all these words that were made up by, late night drinking sessions.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, what they all offer is different price points and different channel groupings. And so what we said is like, wait a second, how are people supposed to figure out which is right for them? And so what we did was we built an algorithm. We call it our Find My Bundle tool, where we just ask a couple of questions, right? It's geo-specific. So where do you live? What's your zip code? And then we just say, what channels do you need? And what our tool does is it says, these are the channels you need. This is the best way to get them. And hey, if you want to save a little bit more money and you're willing to give up a channel or two, here's how you could save even more money. So that's how we help people switch. We call it shaving the cord.
Oh.
Right? So you're going from your traditional TV to a streaming version of the live TV you're used to. And that's our first big product.
And I love the fact that, number one, it's free to everyone listening and watching. If you're watching our video, and you should be, of course, at intotomorrow.com, or if you're listening on the radio, it's important to know that Jason and his team don't charge you for this. So how are you guys making money?
Yeah, so we think it's very important that the consumers, again, free tools to use. So what we do is we have built relationships with the streaming services. We have over 30 relationships with streaming services. And what we do is anytime there's a conversion, which means anytime we help somebody cut the cord and sign up for a streaming service, we could earn a commission from them. Now, obviously, if we were just selling people to the highest bidder like this, we'd be out of business very quickly.
Sure.
And so what we do is the consumer always comes first, right? The algorithm is commission neutral and complete. And so the idea is, what's the best service for you? Here it is. To keep it free, right? What do streaming services look like? Frankly, the streaming service could go out and spend a ton of money on marketing. You know what the last thing they want? The last thing they want is somebody who, for example, doesn't have ESPN, is for you to see an ad, go sign up. They have to pay a whole bunch of money. And then you say, where's my ESPN?
Yeah.
So streaming services are also looking for the right customers Consumers are looking for the right streaming service. And so for this tool, we stand in the middle to make those matches.
And Jason, right before your interview, Chris came in the studio, and on my laptop in here, he put in his basic information because he wanted me to see how it works. So during the interview, we had a better idea. And it listed recommended for you. For all the channels he asked for, it said your best bet in this case is Hulu Live TV for $65 a month. Or the best value was Sling for $35 a month, and it shows 75% of your requested channels. So it allows folks to say, well, maybe I don't really need that history channel. Of course, you knew Chris didn't do that because he's a big-time history guy. But the fact is, maybe you can trim a little bit, as you said, shave from some of the cord to save an enormous amount of money, in this case, almost half right there. But what is cool, it also lets you build your bundle. And there you're using Antennas Direct or Tableau, both of which we've also talked about on the show for years. I think that's terrific. So it allows people to go back and maybe deselect channels or select others and say, hey, that's not so bad. It's a lot less than I was paying Comcast or any other cable company, and getting what you want. So maybe you say, I have room in my budget to actually select a couple of other channels that I do watch occasionally. And why not? I think that's terrific.
Yeah, and I'll just say one of the other things is we obviously list the prices by month, but what's really exciting about these streaming services is there are no annual contracts. In fact, there are no contracts at all. And so where, we've all been there trying to cancel our cable bill and on hold for a long time.
Yes.
And here it's just 2 clicks. And because these streaming services, they know that if they make it easy to go, well, you know what? It's going to be easy for you to come back. And so if you're a football fan, you could sign up for Sling Blue with the sports pack and get Red Zone for 5-6 months of the year, and the other 5-6 months of the year, stick with your Netflix, your Hulu, your Disney, which is also what we help with on the other side of the house.
So good point. Why pay for NFL, for example, if it's not football season? And they understand that, and they get the big picture. We understand there's an estimated 28.6 million cord-cutting households this year coming up. So that's a whole lot of folks that are saying, what are my alternatives? I'm tired of paying these enormous cable bills, and again, not watching easily 4/5 of the channels they offer up, if not more. So that's where mybundle.tv can come in really handy, I should say. People really do save money, right? And yet still get the channels they want.
And that's the key, is we're not necessarily saying get rid of cable and only watch Netflix. We're saying keep the channels you want. We're going to help you find the best way to get them. Again, for that customer leaving cable. We'll also, depending on where you are in the country, recommend the new internet provider to you, right? Because you actually need internet service, right, to get these streaming. And what's very cool is with all this fiber build out, there are high speeds coming to rural areas, suburban areas, cities, and we're in this golden age of actually more internet providers coming to give you an alternative as well. And so we're really excited about the opportunity to build that new bundle where your internet might come from one company and your video comes from another. We just want to eliminate all the work and research and headache because your listeners, your viewers, they have lives.
Yes.
Right? They're not TV researchers, and so that's how we help people save on the live TV. But then when you get to the streaming side, where it's the on-demand world, your Netflix, your Amazon, your Hulu, get back to the earlier problems you said is, number one, we identify 3 main problems for consumers. Number one, I know I want to watch a TV show or movie. Where can I find it? Right?
Yeah.
Number 2 is I have all these streaming services, but every time I go to lie down in bed to watch TV, I spend 20 minutes scrolling through Netflix and then looking through Hulu and then looking through Amazon. And the third problem is I've got all these services and there are more coming, but I have one signed up on this credit card, another one through my Amazon, a third one through my Roku, and a fourth one I can't even remember if I signed up. And so we want to help consumers as well aggregate their bills and their streaming services into one bill. And that's something that we're working on right now, where you can not only find new TV shows to watch across your services, again, free. Our profile is free. Create a free profile in My Bundle. You tell us what services you already have, and we bring all that content into one place so you could add shows to your watch list. You can find new content to watch. Really exciting things, which it all comes down to what you kind of started this off with, is we want to make this simpler for people.
Yeah. Is it likely that they might even be able to save any money there, or maybe they're going to spend the same amount, but certainly, as you point out, it's going to be considerably more convenient?
No, I think we certainly have plans. Nothing I could share right now. But,
Oh, come on. I won't tell anyone. I promise.
Yeah. No, but there definitely are plans. Is the more, what we want to do is think about like many things in life. The more you bundle, the more you save. Right. And so we have some exciting things that we think we could really kind of bring those bundle economics and frankly, share that with the consumer. Right. Good. And to also make it a better place for them to figure out ways to save as well.
Well, I can already sense that we'll have to have you back on soon when you do that sort of thing, because I really think that's going to help a lot of people in addition to what you guys are already doing. Now, it's also, Jason, my understanding that the majority of these cord cutters or cord shavers say that they don't miss anything about their old cable or satellite TV bill, for that matter, or service. And I think that proves the point even better.
Yeah, an interesting statistic that is a couple of years old, but I assume it still holds, is that when somebody shifts from a cable system to a live TV streaming, they watch about half as much live TV, right? Because now that app is sitting next to Netflix and Amazon, and everyone's watching a ton of video, right? And there's a ton of free service out there. I guess for your viewers, I mean, you could check out Peacock or Pluto or Tubi or Crackle. There is so much content out there for free, for small fees. And the idea is, again, back to just figuring out how to organize it and kind of make some sense out of all of this. But yeah, no, it's people do go back, not very often, but people do go back. And if they're going to go back, now they could trade back up again to a Sling, to a Philo for $25. If I miss Food Network, I miss HGTV, I miss this, I miss that. Maybe I want to go watch it for a little bit. There's a show coming back that all my friends are talking about. Am I going to call my cable company and go get a bunch of set-top boxes and go to the... No, you're going to find out, how do I get Paramount Network when Yellowstone comes back? Right. Well, okay, Philo, $25 a month is the cheapest way to get that. Boom. Right. Like I'll sign up for Philo for a couple of months.
It's funny. I'm watching Chris in the control room shaking his head vigorously, like he's with you, especially because that's one of his favorite shows. And what's really unique about that is, as you say, very few people end up going back, God forbid, to cable. But if you do, make them work for it, for crying out loud. Say, don't say, I really need to have my HGTV or this or that. It's almost like going to a car dealership. Don't say, oh my God, I love that color. They got you. So, make them work for it. Just say, well, I'm quite happy with these services, but I'm thinking maybe I want to also add such and such, or maybe I'll go back. Make them give you a good deal, and not for a couple of months, a year at least, where you have that time to make decisions. And I'm assuming that you can also help people that have already gotten rid of cable and maybe they think they're doing their best anyway, because with all these new services coming out, and as you keep saying, more to come, absolutely, it's got to be simpler. And I'm guessing my bundle makes it that way.
Yeah, and that's the idea for we call it cord nevers, right? Is somebody who never had cable, right? Yeah. And a cord cutter is somebody who did and has now moved on. And that's where, again, our free profiles, that's what it's all about, right? And so it's I've got these services, I want to find content. We have a pretty cool tool where it's called our Binge list tool, where you can actually go in your profile, you tell us, you already know what apps you have because you filled it in. I'm in the mood to find a new action adventure TV show. And we show you a whole bunch of TV shows. Not only do we make those recommendations, but you can actually add them to a vote list and then send that list to your friends, to your family, and get them to actually vote on it. And that all gets out. And so the idea is like about the number is it's so close to 50, but 49% of us find our next show from our friends, right? The other 51% find it from the apps. And so what we thought is if we could combine those two and build a really cool and killer proposition, because then those shows also stay in your watch list. And so the idea there is you've got your streaming services on your own. We want to help you make the most of them. Right. Yeah. And then while you're there, hey, I'm into food. Maybe you like maybe you're into documentaries. Check out Curiosity Stream. Right. You're into outdoor stuff. There's My Outdoor TV. And sometimes you're looking for how do I get the Weather Channel? Well, you can get Friendly TV. And the idea is there are 150 streaming services in our streaming marketplace that people can browse and find new ones as well. And so, again, really exciting time, really confusing. Mm-hmm. And so we're constantly working out features around special events as well. And it's a week old. We built a whole Emmys page around all the Emmy nominees, and we had every category and all the TV shows that were listed. And so it's an interactive guide to see, this is the best TV out there, let me check it out. And so, again, always coming out with new ways to help people navigate the streaming.
And that's a cool example, because nobody cares about the Emmys anymore in terms of watching the show and them droning on and being political and whatever else. But a lot of times they want to know what got awards, because maybe they missed that movie or they missed whatever that their friends talked about. Now I do want to go see it. Or it was panned by more people. So you know what? I'm glad I didn't pay for the service to be able to see it. So you do list free things, as you were talking about, various services that are free, various platforms, as well as live local TV, as well as the paid options, of which there are many, and again, many more to come. So it's got to be crazy for you and your team to keep up with all this stuff, but we're glad you're doing it and we're not having to.
Well, we kind of have an internal joke that the harder it is for us to do our job, the more value we're bringing to the system, right? If it was easy, if there was only one service out there, I wouldn't be doing this, right? And so, again, to share another project we're working on right now is, so say somebody says they need their locals, right? What does that mean? Do they need their prime time on Fox, or do they need their local Fox news network, right? Do they just care about that local? And so what we're doing is we're going throughout the entire country, region by region, channel by channel, and finding all the different ways to say, hey, if you don't need prime time, but you just want your local news network, here's how you can cut the cord and still watch your live local news on your TV screen.
Gotcha.
And all that, nobody wants to do that homework. Nobody can. And so that's what we're trying to bring that all together, again, as seamlessly as we possibly can for the user, for the consumer.
Well, better you than us. Jason Cohen is the CEO of My Bundle, and mybundle.tv is the website. We'll get you there when you hit us up at intotomorrow.com as well. Jason, you're a delight to chat with. Keep up the hard work, because it's only going to get harder for you. Oh, well, so sorry. But it's helping all of us, and we're appreciative of it. And let's get you back on again soon, especially when you've got even more opportunities for our audience.
As I say, we're just getting started. So, Dave, thank you very much for having me.
It's our pleasure. Again, Jason Cohen, the CEO of mybundle.tv. Visit intotomorrow.com. We'll get you there. You're a mouse click away from what he and his team are up to. I'm Dave Graveline at intotomorrow.com. Be sure to stay tuned. There's much more coming up right here on the Advanced Media Network.